Of self-esteem, boundaries, reality, dependency, and moderation. So boundaries protect reality. Reality is, what do I look like, what I feel, what I'm doing at any given moment, and people often are out of reality. So you can't really protect reality if you don't have one, so we'll talk about that a lot. And then dependency, it's that anti-dependent or too dependent. So it's about not being, I don't need less and want less, and not being like a pushover. It's like that middle place of dependency. And that has a lot to do with knowing your needs and wants, and also knowing how to take care of your needs and wants. So we're going to work on that. And moderation, people do moderation last, because that people ping pong a lot. And they never hit the middle, and health is the middle, so we'll look at that. So what's some of the things I hear when I'm teaching this? No matter who I'm working with, we're always doing this, even if I'm working with super advanced people. So it's really good to get this under your belt. And this is a course that I used to do over 2 weekends, so this is going to be condensed. So it is good to have the tapes. Okay, so for fun, we'll do boundaries, because that's active. So you have a physical boundary, you have an emotional boundary, and you have an intellectual boundary. All right. So physical boundaries is the space around your body. Now you're accountable for your boundaries, even though when you're working with people, they always blame everybody else for their boundaries. So what's cool about doing a course is you get to name things. Like later on we'll talk about our favorite ways to control and manipulate people. And it's way easier just to name your favorite ways in a course like this than have me name it in a couple session when you want to defend it to the hilt. So it's just cool. Oh, I like to do, you just name it. So because we all have our favorite ways to be dysfunctional. So okay, boundaries protect your body. Now, if you don't take appropriate physical boundaries, you really can't think well. So if you go to a job interview and you're sitting too close or you're sitting too far, you can't think well. You need more of a boundary when you're angry than you do when you're making love. So boundaries come in and out. So a lot of this stuff has to do with responsibility and maturity, but it affects your life. So if you don't have a good physical boundary, it comes in and out, it affects your thinking, it affects your emotions, it affects all kinds of things. I mean, I remember I had a partner that wouldn't allow any fighting in the bedroom, so I said, okay, we have to have our fights walking, so we had our fights walking, and actually we could process tons of stuff walking that we would have never processed in a room. Because, I can hear a lot when I'm walking. It's interesting if my body's moving compared to if I'm eating dinner. I can't hear so much eating dinner, I get more defensive and more argumentative. So, we're going to work with that. So space around your body. And you're accountable for the space around your body. It's not somebody else's job. Your boundaries are always your job and never anybody else's job. Now the sentences that go to different boundaries. So you have a sexual boundary. I have the right to determine with whom, when, and where, and how I'm going to be sexual. That's a sexual boundary. Physical boundary, I have the right to determine when, where, and how, and who is going to touch me, and how close I'm going to allow anybody to stand to me. And the way you negotiate a physical boundary is whoever needs the most space gets it. So if you're in somebody's face and it's intimidating for them, that you don't argue that. You move back. Whoever needs the most space gets it. That's how it's determined. You don't determine it by bullying somebody into your boundary system. Now, emotional one is the hardest one. Well, they're all hard. My reality is more about me and my history than what you are saying or doing in front of me. Your reality is more about you and your history than whatever you're saying or doing in front of me. I am responsible for noting the impact of my behavior on you. I'm responsible for noticing that, not for changing it. Okay? If I've offended you, I'm accountable for the offense. If you have offended me, you're accountable for the offense. I have a right to think whatever I want to think. I need only to face the consequences of that thinking. I can't tell you how many people don't even let themselves think whatever they want to think. You're allowed to think whatever you want to think, and you have to face the consequences.